All right, so we are live now. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I know we're a couple minutes late, sorry about that, but we are here now, and today I'm joined by Hope Ferris again from last week and Rafia Cooper. We received lots of questions, so Rafia is going to serve as our moderator today and field us some of the questions that you guys have asked. So with that, Rafia, I'll start with you.
Hi, everyone. So thank you for having me, and I'm happy to read some questions for you that people have asked. So I think one of the things I'd like to say or mention is Culver City is turning 103. Is that correct, Hope? Since
It is, yes.
in a few days, right? In just a few days.
Yeah, this week.
This week, yes.
Great.
So it's having a birthday. Culver City's having a birthday here soon. So how do you feel about that? It's a 3 years ago we did the centennial. I can't believe that it's gone by so quickly. Remember that? Planning the birthday party in the park and the whole thing. And I think it's September 20th. Is that correct, Hope?
21st.
21st? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coming up very soon.
So the parade. Who can't forget the parade?
Yes, I had so much fun. My youth group was in the parade, so that was a lot of fun for us too.
Yeah. That's great. So where do you want to start? Like, should I start with the questions? Do you guys want to talk about a specific area?
Just really quickly, hi Candance. Candance is watching. She says, hello, ladies, and that she was looking for us. Sorry about Candance. We were a few minutes late today, but we are here now.
So, we are here.
I think that we are going to talk about downtown Culver City. I think a lot of the comments that we've received were about downtown, so let's start there.
Great. So we've had a lot of comments and questions. So one of the questions was, in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, we had MGM as one of our biggest players here in town. And in the last 30 years or so, we've had Sony Pictures as one of our biggest players currently. And now we also have Amazon here. So with that in mind, maybe Hope can give us a little bit of background about how it was with MGM. And then the question to you would be, Heather, that as a Culver City Council member, how do you help encourage new business to come into Culver City safely?
Okay.
So MGM, which is Sony, the main lot is where Sony is. It started in 1916 with Thomas Ince. It became Triangle, then it became MGM. Thomas Ince moved over to the Culver Studios, which that's been kind of our little floating duck of independence for many, many years. That lot has had different owners throughout the years and different shows. A lot of popular movies were made there and shows were made there as well. But MGM sold in the early 80s. Lorimar was there for 5 or 6 years, and then Columbia took over, TriStar Columbia, and now Sony Studios, Sony Entertainment. That was a lot of people who started living here in the early days, they worked at the studio. When Harry Culver started this city, he knew he had to come up with something for, if people were going to buy a house, how are they going to pay for it? So he find jobs for people. So studios were the main part of our popularity, our heritage, our source of income, and it still is.
Okay. Good. Wonderful. So Heather, back to you. She gave us a little bit of history of the studios and how it kind of got started and everything.
Yeah.
So how do we keep some of these businesses that are large ones that are coming in and feeling safe in our neighborhood, and the employees and the employers addressing safety issues?
So a big part of that is just ensuring that we have enough police and enough parking, enough interesting things to keep our businesses here. But a lot of it is also very strangely, we seem to be pro job and anti business, which doesn't exactly work out. So I think that we need to come up with policies that are more business friendly and allow businesses more the ability to flourish better in Culver City. We have these big businesses coming in. It would be nice to see these businesses partner up with maybe some of our smaller businesses and work together, kind of as a whole unit within Culver City. I think that would be really cool to see, and something that I would like to encourage if and when I'm elected to council. Um, so that's one of the things I would definitely like to see.
You know, Heather,
Go ahead.
I was going to say that when I was doing a tour with one of the guys, over the lot manager over at Amazon,
Mhm.
he told me in the very beginning that they were not going to put a commissary back on the lot. They were going to break each employee for an hour, giving our downtown restaurants in the revenue for lunchtime. And I thought, well, that was a pretty nice incentive for our community. You know, people right now need money. I don't even know how you're going to get into a restaurant at lunchtime if with 3,000 employees going to downtown. But I think it's still good for our businesses.
Absolutely, and I'd love to see behind the steps. There's that little gap between the studios and the steps. I would love to see maybe some of the businesses that aren't downtown be able to come and have food carts or something like that that would bring other businesses that aren't necessarily downtown to benefit from some of that. I definitely think that's something that would be worth exploring, but I love the fact that they're doing that. I think it's going to be great for our downtown businesses. I just want to find a way to incorporate the businesses that aren't downtown also. I think that would be good for everyone.
Yes, there's a lot of businesses throughout Culver City in various parts. So you would have to incorporate other businesses here. But what do you see as far as like, defunding the police and how that would interfere with some of these businesses feeling safe to come to our town?
I definitely think it's a big part of it. I mean, part of the main draw to Culver City is our police, our fire, our schools, and just our overall sense of community, I feel like is such a positive for Culver City. Defunding the police, and I'll say it till I'm blue in the face, defunding anything 50% right off the bat is just completely irresponsible, especially without a plan, without something else to go on. So I don't agree with defunding our police. I do not want to see that happen. I think that more community conversation, like what has started, is crucial. I think getting to the point where everyone trusts each other is crucial. And I think that by allowing the conversation to happen and not just, defunding on a whim or, cutting something 50%. I mean, when we have all of these groups here in Culver City and they're open after COVID, on a good day, we have 12 officers patrolling.
Mm-hmm.
Just 12. It's not like we have hundreds out. We have 12. If you defund them by 50%, and you now only have 6 officers on patrol, I don't see that working. So I think for businesses to feel safe, we can't afford to cut our police. And the police budget is the biggest budget in any city budget. So I think that people are just, I understand the sentiment and I understand the frustration. And I think that the cure for that is real community conversation where we're not just talking to each other and screaming at each other. We're sitting down and we're listening and we're coming up with a plan together. I think that's the important part.
Yes, and as a small business owner, it's important to, have that safety for not only for my business, but for my employees as well. So I appreciate your answer. So how do you think that the downtown area has adapted to what is now, has the streets been taken over because of the virus. So
Right.
how do you feel about the traffic? And I mean, we need our businesses to thrive as well.
Right.
But at the same time, you know, there is a lot of traffic going on. So how do you anticipate changing that even after the virus?
So the outdoor dining is nice. I wish we could make it look a little nicer, but we did what we could, and we're doing what we can with what we've got. So I get that. With all these new businesses coming in, we're going to have more traffic. Uh, Whether they offer incentives for ride sharing or busing or biking, that's something that maybe we work on with those businesses to try and lessen the traffic. We do have the expo line right there that people can hop on and ride to, and walk the last little bit to work. Um, but I think that for downtown, after this is all said and done, I know a lot of people want to permanently keep that outdoor dining. I don't think that would work. I think there's too much going on downtown to do that. But maybe once a month or something, we can close down that part and do a combined farmers market, outdoor dining. You know, like I know in Long Beach, in a town called Bixby Knolls, which is kind of an offshoot, they have what they call First Friday, and they shut down the street and everyone comes out. There's vendors, there's people that play music, and everyone shops and dines on the street. I think
Mm-hmm.
something like that would be really cool and really, really useful downtown, especially people getting out of work after they're done at Amazon or HBO or wherever they're at. They can just wander on down, and I think that's the way to kind of incorporate it all together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Hope, how has downtown changed from, I don't know, the 70s even, or earlier on? How has that downtown area been changed? We have one of the smallest main streets, I think, but it's a great little street. And I was just wondering how your take is on the history of that.
Culver City's downtown at one time was a thriving downtown with businesses all up and down Main Street and in Culver Boulevard from about, I want to say from Duquesne, pretty much Madison, through to the other side of the Culver Hotel to Ince. And then in the other older part of town, I mean, it was until about the late 40s when the Culver Center was built, people left downtown. It was harder to park. When they got rid of the Meridian where you could park on an angle in the middle of the Culver Boulevard and that parking went away, it just got harder. And then you got this brand new, beautiful Culver Center being built finished in 1950. The store moved down there, the flower shop moved over there. People started moving out of downtown and going into one collective little area. And then shortly after that, the Studio Village was built. So downtown became this ghost town for many, many years. And it was kind of scary down there. And the Downtown Business Association did an amazing job bringing in restaurants and starting to revitalization, redevelopment. I think it's amazing what's happened. But with all the traffic that we're now absorbing for the new industry and how the industry has changed, I mean, with Amazon, there's a lot more people going to be working internally on the lot because of the way they make films today. They're not the same way. You don't need all the heavy equipment. You can be doing it pretty much in a room the size of my living room if you're doing a digital film that's all animated or a motion capture, those type of films. So it's different. So it requires more people. And I just don't know. I kind of wish we didn't get rid of Washington that slithered up in front of the thing, because that gave us 2 ways to get back up to Venice or out of town. Because it really, Parcel B, the way it's set up with the Amazon building, I think it's going to get really congested. And then the feed, of course, is right there at the top of where our Tuesday farmers market is. And the only way to get out is to really go into downtown. And then think, well, the studio is ready to bring people back to work and we're still in a COVID crisis, and they have people going to work. What happens to our outdoor dining for our small businesses down there? Do we have to stop that to allow for people to get to and from the new business that we've just built this huge studio with? Not that we paid for it, but we were involved with a lot of their plans, the city. So it's all it's so different. It was a ghost town down there, and it's beautiful, but
it's beautiful.
I worry about how does a senior, if my mom and dad, they're 85, they want to go down and have something to eat, they're going to drive their car. I'm sorry, they're not going to take a Uber. They're going to drive their car, and so then you have to think, no, you won't be going downtown. Let's go. It's going to be a little crowded because the excitement of all the new restaurants and the new people coming to work in our town, they're going to be wanting to sit outside. Look what happened, 20 years ago when we started having the outdoor cap seating. It really blossomed into a real nightlife. People hung out.
Right.
Yeah.
And it also looks so attractive when there's like all these people spilled out of establishments, and sitting out there dining, and makes you want to go and be there as well, Okay, so Heather, do you have a favorite spot that you like to go to in downtown?
Back in the day, my favorite was La Bayona, which isn't there anymore.
Oh, yes.
Right now, I guess my favorite spot downtown, it would be a toss-up between probably Public Schoolhouse and the Altala. I think both of those are really great restaurants, and they both have beautiful outdoor seating, and it's really nice down there.
It is. It's beautiful, lively, and they do that third Wednesday thing they were doing that previous to the virus. So that was, another wonderful little event. Do you have a favorite, Hope?
Downtown?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. I have a lot.
Isn't it great that we have a lot to do?
I love that you took the Culver Hotel from once being pretty a really beautiful hotel, down to tenement living for probably 30, 40 years, where, 25, 30 years ago, you wouldn't want to walk in there. But to the different processes of the hotel, to Maya and her mom, and how beautiful, how lovely it is to sit in the lobby of the Culver Hotel, and the preservation that happened with that hotel is, for me, I think my favorite place downtown is the Culver Hotel.
Yeah, I say it's beautiful. It's a really beautiful hotel. So Heather, as a council member, what do you want to do to protect some of the charm of our downtown?
So I think that we have to develop responsibly. I think that we really need to evaluate different ways that we can work with downtown. Like I said, maybe doing something where we can shut down that part of Culver and have some kind of, outdoor dining, shopping, farmers market, even if we just did it once a month. I think something like that would be really nice. But I definitely want to see us take a step back from maybe developing as hard as we are. I think there's plenty. The steps are really nice, but it blocks the view of the studio, which so many people know and love.
Do you miss that view?
I do. It was always so nice, when you're coming from Venice, and you're coming down and you see the studio. It's just that moment where you're just kind of like, I'm home, and it's something that's so infamous and so intertwined in the Culver City, the facade of the front building there. I miss it. You have to walk behind the steps now in order to see it. And there's a nice little walkway and a nice little gate, but it's just little things like that people miss. So I think that the development in some sense is good. A lot of what's going on here is really nice also, some of the development over there. but working together on process and plans and making sure that we are doing this responsibly and ensuring that everyone is heard and, residents especially. That's something I want to do. I just work on more is outreach and that conversation. I feel like that's really what's lacking.
Great. So Heather, there's a few comments on our live right now, and there are some questions, and I just got some questions sent to me. Heather, I work in the CBD industry. What do you think of the government's bill to legalize it? That's the question. And I'm going to
you know what, Rafi, I can post them on the screen. Would that be easier?
Okay, you got some on the screen?
Yeah, I'll post it on the screen. So I have Marissa's comment here. Hi, Marissa. That's the one. I work in the CBD industry. What do you think of the government's bill to legalize it? So, Marissa, I would love to talk to you and pick your brain on it. Honestly, CBD is, marijuana is legalized now. I don't see the real issue with CBD, given that marijuana is legal. I know from a different perspective, I give CBD to my cats to get them to relax, especially like 4th of July. It's just an easy way to calm the animals down. But I would love to pick your brain a little bit more. So we'll be hearing from you soon. And then we have a comment.
You have some comments from Candance?
Yeah. So how would you suggest the larger businesses work with small businesses? Candance, it's a really good question, and I think that's a conversation that we all have together. One of the main ways I can think of is you've got the Apple, these Amazon people coming in, and we always have a fair amount of celebrity sightings, if you will, but getting them to help with some promotion of the smaller businesses, or saying we have X equipment and could do this kind of event together to promote each other and work together. That's the kind of thing that we could do right away. And with more conversation and sitting down together to work on it together, we can come up with other ways to help each other out also.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you have there's some feedback coming on the stream? So does anybody have their other phone or something open that they can turn the volume down? That'd be great. I think that's the issue here. So I just want to know if you guys could bring that volume down. Okay. So Candance had a few different comments. Are you going to read them all, or should I? Or do you want to read them?
I can get the other one. So she's saying hello to Maria. Hi, Maria. Hi, Candance. Thanks for watching. And then Candance shared traffic was very challenging to get to downtown Culver City. And in December, it took 45 minutes to go downtown Culver from the Raintree Plaza. Yeah.
But are you finding the traffic to still be this heavy even during the virus, or is it because we've got
I don't think so. I think that we've had a lot of lessening of traffic right now while everyone is working remotely. And I'm interested to see when things go, back to normal, what that normal is going to be like, because a lot of people are permanently working from home now.
Yes.
I know my mom's company, even though she works just down the street, they said nobody's coming back into the office. You can make appointments, but permanently everyone's working remotely. There's like a handful of people who
yes.
So I think there's a lot of businesses like that are going to be doing that, and I'm interested to see what things are like, which is why sometimes some people have asked me before about what I think about like the general plan and mobility, and right now I think it's kind of a wait and see. We've got so much change that's happened so fast. I mean, the entire way we're doing business, the entire way we're going to school, I mean, everything has changed so much. that I think that we really have to wait and evaluate what's going to happen after.
Absolutely. Do you think that it's going to change the way that we do things because we are able to work remotely? It's going to change how, if we need more housing or if we need, like, I'm not sure that we need everyone to live anymore right where we work, because that part is changing, just like you said.
Yeah. I do know that in the complex that I live in, we've had a lot of people that have moved out because they're permanently working from home now. So they've moved to other areas that are cheaper, and sometimes other states.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's definitely changing everything. If I can rent an apartment in the valley for half the cost and only come in on Tuesdays or something like that, it's going to change everything, And a lot of businesses have said even when they go back to their new normal, they're going to stagger working people. So they'll have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or a Tuesday, Thursday, and different sets of people. So I don't know that we're going to have all these employees all at once,
Right.
which I
Well,
think will change
that
and
also
adapt.
that's also brings us to the safety issues where, we have 39,000 residents here, our population of Culver City, but then during the day, because of the businesses, we have an additional number that comes in, and that's, I think, a couple of extra 100,000 people that come to work here. So
Yeah.
that also, how do you manage that as a safety issue?
So managing people coming in and during the day, I mean, there's no doubt our daytime population is much higher than who's working here. I mean, you can tell when you're going to work, you can tell when you're going home from work. People come here, to work. I think that it's just about us figuring it out together. I think that I would love to give you an answer that's very direct and this is how we're going to do it, but it's adapting. But I think that for sure, I mean, we don't have any officers to spare. Like I said, we only have 12 on duty on any good day, on each shift. So I don't see how we could have officers to spare to, to give up even a few. Response times would go up drastically.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing we pride ourselves on is our level of service.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to see us sacrifice our levels of service. I don't want to see us putting people in danger. And the police are who show up when seconds count. When you are desperate and you need somebody, without fail, they show up. So we can't afford to risk it at all.
Okay. I think we're almost coming close to the end of our show. So do you want to read a few? I see more comments have popped up. So maybe we could review a few of those and read a few.
Sure.
Do you want me to do it or do you want to do it?
I'll put them on the screen like before.
Okay.
So we have Maria. I know employers are having to incorporate work from home policies if they want to become an employer of choice. Working from home is here to stay. I agree, Maria. I think a lot of people who are looking for jobs right now, I have a lot of friends who are looking for jobs who got laid off due to COVID. And even my husband got laid off due to COVID. So he's been looking. And the one thing everyone keeps saying is, I want somebody that gives me the option to work from home most of the time or to go into the office, limited hours. And I think you're totally right. A lot of people are going to be doing that.
Okay. Is there another one?
Yep, we've met from Marta. I'm concerned with development that's being proposed at the post office location on Machado. We cannot afford to move traffic, more pollution, more crime. I would like to preserve neighborhoods as much as possible. So Marta is talking about the triangle section in the middle of where Sepulveda and Overland split, and there's the post office and the Cocos and all of that. So, I mean, I agree. I think that we've had people wanting to develop in that area before, And at the community outreach meetings, the feedback from the residents has been really bad. I know even before, when I was a teenager, there was a plan to develop like where the Tattletale and all those guys are in that little shopping plaza. They wanted to put in mixed use, and they had a community meeting in the cafeteria of El Rincon, and it was packed. And so many residents felt the same way. It's not a good fit. They didn't want the traffic. They didn't want the crime. So I agree, Marta. I think that that's something to do with developing responsibly, and that's going back to the whole speaking with the community and getting community input on these issues is really vital, especially for little sections like that. I mean, I don't see a mixed use being there. I think it would be totally out of place. So, yeah, I mean, I hope, yeah.
Not only that, but I'm curious what you think about the fact that we know what you think about that corner, but just on the other side of the old Aaron Brothers, where the Tattletale is, that whole corner has just been sold, and that's up for development as well.
Yeah, I did hear about that. And I think it goes back even, before when that happened and they were thinking about tearing it down and building those buildings. I think it's so out of place. We have all of our nice single family home, cul-de-sacs and all those streets, and it would be so out of place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we want to develop and we want to create more housing, but at what cost is the real question there. We're going to sacrifice the feel of our city. We're going to sacrifice the look of our city. And I, for one, don't agree. And if I'm wrong and all the residents want it, then I'm wrong and all the residents want it. But I think it really comes down to all of us having a say in what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it really didn't go well the last time when they were talking about doing it. I would venture to say it would probably be the same thing this time. And we have a lot of small business owners in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's where they can afford to put up shop because it hasn't been developed. It's been, mostly taken care of. I think that area looks nice. It's kind of got that old Culver feel. And I, for one, love that. I mean, there used to be the George's coffee shop there that I loved going to for breakfast with my grandpa. It was, good food, friendly people, and it's been there forever. I know it's now the Mexican restaurant, and I've been there, and it's really good also. But I would hate to see these people lose the ability to have their businesses because we're going to develop and build some monstrosity there. It doesn't fit in. We need places where people can afford to do their business. And if you look across the street, the place that got developed in what used to be the KFC there,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's been empty forever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to see that happen to everyone across the street as well.
I don't know how you feel, but I just don't think that our traffic can handle it.
Absolutely not. No. And I remember so clearly asking at the last meeting when they said they were going to do mixed use. I said, have you done any studies on how it's going to affect the schools?
Mm-hmm.
People have kids. It's a fact of life. And, how is this going to impact the number of students in school? And the developer's response to that at the time was, they won't have kids. That's exactly, yeah. Wait, what? So I think that just, we have to do this responsibly. There's going to be some development that happen, but we need to do it in such a way where we don't lose the charm and we leave the ability for businesses to stay open. And, a lot of those businesses, there are people that live in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Elena's little hairdressing salon.
Yeah.
And all the way across, to the Scarlet and into the little antique toy store. But that's next section that's supposed to go.
Oh, wow.
There's a certain point where they can't do any more construction down the way because there's a pipeline that runs from Bakersfield to El Segundo, which kind of saves part of that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think that's further down towards where the old Mayfair, the Big Lots and that kind of, I think it's in that section from that.
Yeah.
like
Did
from
you
Clear
just
Road,
call it Mayfair?
Mayfair Market, and the bowling alley.
Mayfair Market, I remember that.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean it's we've got to have some places that aren't overdeveloped and aren't, so expensive for people to live and work. I think that's really important, and that's definitely got to be something that we factor in when we're deciding to let developers develop in those areas. So,
Exactly, and just keeping some of the charm, that's here, that's Culver City's charm. We need to keep some of that, right?
yeah, exactly. So I've got
You've
another
got,
team dance question.
yeah, you've got a few more.
Yeah, we're
So,
getting through them. I promise, guys, I'm getting through them. So, if I could reimagine the Culver City Council, what change would I like/plan to bring? So, one of the things that I would love to bring to my dance, and one of the things I know we've talked about on here a bunch, is I would love for a council member or all of the council members once a month to go to a neighborhood and sit down with the residents there and say, what's going on in your neighborhood? What do you need? What can we do? What are we missing? Because I feel like that's really what's missing right now is some of that, concern and the reaching out. Right now, I feel like the council only knows about things if somebody reaches out to them. I would like to see us be proactive and actually get down to it and say, what do you need? I feel like that's what's missing is that what do you need element. We work for you guys. We don't the residents don't work for the city council. The city council works for the residents. And I think taking that approach and that hands-on attitude is really what I would like to bring, and I'd like to bring that back to our council. So, Marta again. Wow, I didn't know that. Do you know if council did a traffic survey? I think she's talking about the plan to develop that whole section from the Tattletale down. So I don't know, Marta, is the question that, but I'd be happy to find out and let you know.
usually, typically, don't they do a traffic survey before they start developing?
They do, but I don't know if they're to that point yet.
Okay.
I know it's been sold and they're probably planning to, but how far along they are in those stages, I'm not exactly sure. But I'd be happy to get back to you on that, Marta. And then Maria says, I'd like to see a more collaborative city council, one that's more in tune with the citizenry. I love Culver City for its small town friendly feel. I agree. I agree, Maria. I think that what's happened a lot now is the council's just out of touch. And I think if we can bring that back and we can reach out to the residents and start those conversations again, I think that's really going to make a difference.
Okay.
Marta says traffic is going to cut through our neighborhoods. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Especially if we do some of the developing they're talking about. So,
Got one more from Candans or
Maria was responding to Candan, so I think we'll leave that one alone.
okay.
But,
Well, this has been a very great, a knowledgeable conversation and wonderful information that you have given out, and Hope that has given us some of the history behind the downtown area. I appreciate listening to both of you. Is there anything else that you want to add before we sign off?
Hope, I'll let you go first. Anything else?
Myself?
Yeah.
I just, I don't want the people that are new to our city to think that we're old and fuddy-duddies and we can't accept change. We can't. It's just that it's so much and it's at such a rapid pace. But I also want to let them know that I embrace all our new neighbors and that I welcome them here. And I hope that they will also consider the idea of running for council one day and being part of our system, because it's this whole village. It is everybody, east, west, north, south, the whole town. We are all neighbors and we should all be kind with each other.
I couldn't have said it better. I love that.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of it, like I've said before, is it's growing pains. And it's just a lot of it is, some of the frustration is a lot of us have felt left out of the process. or not included in the process. And I think that's especially why I chose to run for city council right now, is to help stop that from happening. I want everyone to feel involved. I want everyone to feel welcome. And I want everyone to get an understanding of the history and what's going on now, and maybe better understand why some of us are putting our hands up and saying, please don't, please don't. I think that's so important, especially for people that are new here. We're not fuddy-duddies. We're not stuck in the past. It's just there is a method to the madness. And I think it's just understanding the full argument, and what we would be losing isn't just, what Culver City used to be. It's losing some of the businesses that wouldn't be able to afford it otherwise. It's losing that element as well. So there's a true human component to it, and I think that's really what gives us all pause. So,
and businesses bring the revenues in as well for our city.
Businesses are the backbone of our community. I mean, truly, they provide all the revenue to do what we need to do, and we would be so lost.
We need to try to continue to, through the rest of this COVID and future, continue to use our local businesses and our restaurants and our, supply companies, places that are locally in town here, keep them going.
Exactly. Well, thank you both. And thanks for inviting me to read some questions to you. And for those who are watching, maybe for next week, they can send us some more questions, and we're happy to read them and have you answer. So with that, shall we say goodbye?
Yeah. So just one more time, everyone, keep commenting on the video, even after the fact. We read them all, and we may have Rafia read them next time. And more than that, again, my name is Heather, and I'm running for City Council.
Scott Zeidman's jumping in here. Too late for a question?
All right, Scott, you got 2 minutes. Let's do it.
Let's hear your question, Scott.
But if you have any questions about me or want to get in touch with me, you're watching this live from my Facebook page, so you can always go to my Facebook page. You can call, email, go to my website, heatherforculvercitycouncil.com. Those are all wonderful ways to get a hold of me, and I'm very responsive, so I will get back to you. So I guess, Scott, unless your question pops up as I'm saying this, I will respond to you after, or maybe on the next live. But everyone, thanks for joining us today, and I will have a business on again this Saturday. Saturdays I do my Small Business Saturday conversation, and this week I'll be talking with David Von Cannon, who owns a local business here, and he's in the tech industry. So really important right now, really, really important. So tune in Saturday at 11. I'll have him on. So I will see you all then.
Thank you, Heather.
Thanks, Rafia.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.